You know, in the digital world, peace of mind feels like something you can't even buy. But what if a tech company made that its entire mission? Well, that's what we're diving into today with GBYTE INFOTECH. They call themselves architects of digital peace of mind. So let's figure out what that actually means, shall we?
So, right off the bat, GByte lays out the core problem. They talk about this digital wilderness, and it's a great metaphor, right? It's this chaotic place where, as a business owner, you're told, be unique, stand out, but then you're handed the exact same map as everyone else. You're just struggling to find your footing, never mind trying to blaze your own trail.
Okay, so what does being lost in this digital wilderness actually look like in the real world? GByte breaks it down into three big and probably very familiar frustrations.
First, there's the problem of the pre-made box, and you know exactly what they mean. Your business, your big idea, it's totally unique. But what do you get? A cookie-cutter template that 1,000 other businesses are already using. That spark, that special something about your vision, poof, it's gone before you even get started. And because these tools are so generic, the security is usually, let's just say, fragile. It's one size fits all, which really means one size fits none. So that great deal you thought you were getting, it turns into a total money pit. You're just constantly shelling out cash for maintenance, just patching up cracks to keep the whole thing from falling apart.
And here's the kicker. The tech partner who sold you this whole generic, fragile mess, a lot of the time, they're gone the second they get your money. Sound familiar? It leaves you completely stranded, all alone in that wilderness, holding this black box that you have no idea how to use. So, this all leads to the big question that GByte's whole story is designed to answer. If this is the standard way of doing things, and it's so full of problems, what's the alternative? How do you get out of just surviving and actually start thriving? And this is where GByte steps in with their own philosophy. See, they're not just selling another service, they're positioning themselves as a totally different kind of builder, one that's working from a completely different blueprint. It really all boils down to one core belief they have, and it's a radical one. It's this: the system should bend to the business, not the other way around. I mean, think about that. Tech is supposed to be a tool that serves you and your vision, not something that forces you into its little box. I love this comparison. They basically see the rest of the industry as a factory assembly line, just churning out the same product over and over again. But they see themselves as artisans, craftspeople. They're building your digital solution from scratch, tailoring every single line of code to your specific vision. Okay, let's talk about security. What's so interesting here is how they frame it. They don't just list a bunch of features. No, they call it an obsession with protecting what they consider your life's work. That's a pretty big statement. And they're not just talk. They back up this obsession with what they call a 4-layer backup protocol. And get this, they even admit it borders on paranoia, which is kind of what you want, right? You've got Git for version control, cloud backups for easy access, external storage for physical security, and, this is the big one, a local in-house cloud. So you, the client, have total control. This quote is just, wow. We don't just save your work, we immortalize it. That completely reframes what a backup even is, doesn't it? It's not just some utility. It's a promise that your work is permanent. They're saying that if you come back years from now, your data will still be there, and they'll give it back to you, no questions asked. They won't hold it for ransom.
All right, now we get to what GByte calls its most controversial belief, and it's a big one. In an industry that literally thrives on those endless monthly maintenance fees, their goal is to build systems that make themselves, well, totally unnecessary.
And this chart just lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, you have the typical IT firm. It's like a hamster wheel. You're just running and running, paying those maintenance fees just to keep the lights on. But on the right, you have the GByte model. It's a rocket ship. The money you would have spent on maintenance is now fuel for actual growth, freeing you up to focus on marketing and making your business bigger. So you gotta ask, why would they do this? Why would any company build something that cuts off a steady source of income for them? Well, their answer is pretty simple. They're playing the long game. They figure that if you, their client, succeed and grow, then they'll grow right along with you. It's about shifting from just another transaction to a real, lasting partnership. Okay, a great philosophy is, well, it's great. But how does it all translate into real-world results? Let's get into the nitty-gritty now. This is the proof, the actual tools and services GByte offers to make all this happen. So here's a look at their digital toolkit. As you can see, they cover the whole spectrum. We're talking website design, custom software, mobile apps,
all the way to more complex stuff like IoT and cloud migration. Each one of these is a tool in their belt to build those custom, from-scratch solutions we were just talking about.
But look, having the best system in the world doesn't mean much if nobody can find you, right? Remember that whole zero maintenance idea? The goal was to free up your budget so you could actually grow. Well, this is where that money goes. They offer the whole marketing and design package, SEO, social media, ads, to actually help you grow. They're not just the builder, they're the partner for the whole ride.
And here are the numbers to back it all up. We're looking at over 450 happy clients, more than 640 projects completed, all by their team of over 10 experts. For them, this is the proof that their philosophy isn't just some nice idea. It's a model that actually works in the real world.
This brings us to how they redefine what it means to finish a project. For most tech companies, when the project's delivered, that's it. Goodbye. But for GBYTE, it's just a change in the relationship. They essentially become your silent partner, keeping an eye on your system's health long after the initial build is done, even when you're not actively paying them for it.
And they leave us with this final thought. It's a really provocative question, one that's designed to make you rethink, well, everything about your tech partners. It completely reframes that whole client-vendor relationship, and it forces you to ask a really important question. Are they building for their own success or for yours?